So speaking of technology, currently, what's in your bag that you're playing? What ball are you looking at, or fits well with your game? And do you look to make any changes in the near term?
Definitely. So I use the TaylorMade SimMax driver. I didn't want a lot of adjustability. So, really the degree is all I needed. And I keep mine at a 10.5, and I play a Tour AD shaft, and that really is all I needed. It's optimized the game and my driving game and what I needed to do with that. I like a lot of flight. So I use a lot of carry. I don't have a lot of rollout in it, and I like that. And then so I go down to two hybrid, which kind of plays as my 3 wood or my 5 wood. I don't have a 3 wood that I like at the moment. So that is what it is. And it's from 2010. It's a VRS Nike. And that face is still hot as can be. So, I still love it. And then
Yeah.
from there, I go 3 through pitch and wedge Nike Pro Combos from 2013. Again, I have a classic style bag, from a while ago, but the clubs are still effective and I
Yeah.
still love them. The face still works just fine. And I love them. And then from there, I have 3 more wedges. I go gap, 50-degree, sand wedge 54, and then lob wedge 58. Those are all Titleist Vokey SM7s. And then I have a ping time 2 that I use, which is like a 2-fang putter. And then I have a mallet Callaway O-Works putter. I go in between really just based on the feel and what's really receptive at the moment. And then the ball I use is either the Titleist Pro V1 or I like the Tour BXS. Those are my top, 1A, 1B type deal right now. I feel like the Bridgestone gets me a lot more spin around the green, and I feel like the compression is better off the driver. So I'm feeling a little bit more spring off of it. So if I do get rollout, I feel like the Bridgestone provides more of that. But besides my putter and driver, I feel like, everything else in my bag can go off because I like, a lot of different brands and what they provide for with their iron. And I know I want to stay with Vokey Wedges. Those are probably, my favorite that I've played out of Nike and TaylorMade and Vokey. I feel like the Vokey, has the best reception off the face.
Yeah.
I don't try to, open it up and play a lot of variation. So I don't need like a high toe or a lot of, grooves up top or on the edge or on the toe and things like that. So for
You just
that,
like to keep it simple in your short game.
definitely try to
Okay.
keep it as simple as possible.
So you mentioned kind of updating clubs. Do you think golfers change out equipment just for the sake of changing out equipment, or do you think there are big changes in certain clubs throughout the bag? Like I do, I would imagine that a driver from 2010 couldn't even come close to competing today with the new technology. But I don't think year to year you're gonna, I remember TaylorMade commercials from a few years ago, gain 20 yards. I don't know how true that is year to year, but if your clubs are 15 years old or 10 years old, I can see gains like that happening. What are your thoughts on golfers changing out equipment frequently, and is it change just to change?
From year to year, as you were saying, I don't feel like there's that much of a stark difference, but I feel like there are times when companies make, big changes to the composition of a club or something like that. So like, I felt like when the TaylorMade M1 and M2 were made compared to what the Sim and the Sim Max and everything right now, I feel like that was a big difference with the twist. When it comes to irons and wedges and things like that, I don't think from year to year that those things make much of a difference. So that's why I'm not in any way in a rush to replace my Nike Pro Combos, but it would be nice to get some change of lofts and just a little bit stronger faces and just refresh the brain and have a little inspiration to get better again because you have some new boys in the back.
Yeah. So, as a golfer, that some days you wake up and you don't have your best game available to you. What are some things in your game that the part of your game that you can always lean on and know that it'll bail you out when you need it? Let's say I don't know, driver's not working that day? What is a part of your game that you know is always going to be on?
Well, I'm glad you said that because my driver's hardly ever on right now, and
Okay.
and so for me, the short game has really saved me a lot, and I felt like that really is what I kind of harped on when I first started. It was one of the most thrilling things that I could practice and felt like I was getting the most out of in the short term. So for me, I felt like as soon as I could, you could put a wedge in my hand from, anywhere from, 150 yards and in, I felt like that really gave me a comfort that no other part of my game has. So off the tee, I do tend to struggle and have like a low left miss or a hook. I mean, I feel like once I get a wedge in my hand, it's an easy peasy thing. So the putter is kind of like hit or miss. Sometimes I'm hot, sometimes you're not. It's always a gamble for me with the putter. But when it
That's a
comes
good
to
word. I don't know. Gamble seems super risky. I will say I do challenge you on some of those, 3 foot and in putts to make those. But I agree. Some days I'm like,
there
you
it
can
goes.
make everything. I've seen you just kind of hold stuff left and right, and then there's days where you're close to getting some 4 putts in there. So
You know it all too
kind
well.
of closing out the equipment piece. Are you a shaftoid? Do you think different shafts make a huge difference in game outside of stiffness, or do you think like certain profiles make a huge difference in a golfer's game, or are you just kind of like get a stiff if you need a stiff?
But when it comes to shafts, I feel like it makes enough of a difference. Like I feel like for me, I play the S300s right now. Those are stiff shafts. I feel like if I were to go to like, just like a KBS or a Nippon or something like that, or a Nippon, my apologies. I feel like, that could make all the difference between if I wanted to keep the Nike Pro Combo heads or not. But, when it's already, when it changes the flight and the trajectory and the consistency of the yardage that you hit, I feel like, in that aspect, it definitely has a difference. I feel like, honestly, I feel like it's more of just a once you hone in what you can do with your game, I mean, that helps you more than a shaft will ever do.
So we've had the opportunity to go on a handful of golf trips. One here locally in Austin, we went out to Myrtle Beach, but we were both babies at that time in terms of our development of our games, and then out to Arizona as well. If money was not an object and you could go anywhere in the world and play, let's say, 4 of the most amazing courses that you could play, where would that be?
Just off the top of my head, I want to go to Abu Dhabi. I want to play at one of the Emirates courses. I feel like, I mean, the way that they do night golf and the way that their course plays, during the day, I feel like that would be either, top 4 easily. And I feel like I would want to do one of the link style courses, one of the old style courses, but maybe not St. Andrews, but maybe like, Royal St. George's or one of the lesser known ones, just something to kind of switch it up. Like everybody wants to play at the home of golf, but what about all the subsidiaries from it? And what about all the, little bros and everything like that? That would be a goal, like maybe go into Ireland or something like that and play
Yeah.
one of those original links courses. And then of course, the new latest and greatest thing from in the States, I feel like Bandon Dunes. I feel like that whole, property right there is just unmatched as it goes for like golf trips. You can go up there and spend a week playing golf.
Yeah.
And I feel like they give you the full experience. And then of course I would want to go and play
I know the name is slipping me right now, but where we just played the freaking Ryder Cup this past year, they have a number of different courses. Is it Whistling Straits?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a ton of courses up there as well. And I think there's one down in Florida, Stream Song, that there's like a gathering of courses. So there's quite a few places, I mean, where there's golf grouped together. So I think if you spent a lifetime, I don't think you'd be able to get as much golf as you want, right? There's going to be some that you just leave on the table, Pebble Beaches, and yeah,
Right.
I mean, even where they're playing this week on the PGA, that grouping of courses, I think they're on 3 different courses this week. So Yeah, it's just endless in terms of dream golf that you could just throw a dart at it. So
It's so much, and the opportunities are infinite, really.
yeah. Kind of speaking of the PGA, we both watch the game a lot as well. Golf Channel is one of my obsessions at this point. I used to fall asleep at watching Golf Channel until I started playing the game, and now it's just one of those things where it's just kind of always on. Well, who are some of the players on the PGA Tour that you model your game after and also watch quite a bit?
Yeah, and that's a great question as well, because I felt like when I was first getting into the game, I tried to kind of follow golfers that I felt like I could model my game after. And now I feel like I follow a lot of golfers that are just technically sound and swing beautifully. So like to start, I feel like taller guys like Bill Haas, Keegan Bradley, even like a Stuart Sink. I watched their motions. I watched how they approach the game, because I felt like with a taller stature, you kind of swing different and it's kind of a different motion. But nowadays, I mean, I feel like Rory McIlroy is probably my favorite golfer to watch. I wish he could putt, but I mean, again, I feel like we related in that aspect. I also love like a guy like Colin Morikawa or Xander Schauffele. They just really find a way to get it around. They play completely different games. Xander Schauffele plays the draw. Colin Morikawa plays the fade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just play different games. And I feel like that's so much that I can learn from, because I don't swing anything like them, but everything they do is so technically sound. You can learn from that. So that's who I tend to gravitate to now.
Yeah, I definitely have been watching Colin Morikawa quite a bit. One, because of his success, but also that's the part of the game that I really in 2022 look to improve is the irons and his ball striking. I think outside of Tiger Woods, it's hard to compare how well he strikes the ball with an iron. Like, he's so close in proximity. Now his driver, he's not the longest on tour. His short game is kind of in the mid, but his iron game is ridiculous. So just seeing his pace of play and just how his takeaway is, he's somebody that I've been watching quite a bit here lately as well. Almost winding it down here. We talked a lot about golf, but outside of the golf course and when you're at work, what do you do to relax, and what do you do outside of golf?
Yeah, so I would still say my first love is basketball. So anytime I can pick up a basketball and safely and play with the guys and get an open run together, I'll do that on a Saturday morning or like a Monday evening. Those are my two favorite times, or my two most available times, I would say. But other than that, my biggest passion right now is gaming. I mean, if I'm not at the course playing golf, then I'm either playing golf on my PlayStation or I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm a big Warzone guy. I'm fake sweaty. I'm not quite there yet, but those are my passions, and I love those. So I'm a very simple guy. It's not easy to disappoint me. It's easy. It's easy to impress me, I guess you could say.
Well, Marcus, I appreciate you joining me. I wanted to switch it up for the channel, bring some different perspective, and also just another subject in and around golf that you don't get to hear a lot about. So I appreciate you giving me some of your time and sharing your experience and your life with my audience. So in terms of your outside hobbies and your gaming, do you want to share your social media so where people can link up with you, and I can toss that down at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, for sure. So if you're trying to reach me on anything that is social, Babylonian is it. I have one name. I've linked them all together now. So BABLELONIAN, Babylonian. It's all I am. So if you find me on Twitch or on Discord or on Twitter or on Instagram, those are my four, main social ones. So if you can find me on that, that's my name. And come find out what I'm talking about.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining again, and par for the course, folks. We'll see you on the next one.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me, big bro.
Absolutely.